Well, we're stepping into the future a couple of years, but trust me, this one will be worth it. This is the King of Fighters EX Neo Blood for the Game Boy Advance. This is an Artoon developed fighting game that attempts to bring KOF 99 to Game Boy, and I don't know, I think the results kind of speak for themselves. Like, you can admire the attempt, and the Game Boy Advance is leagues above its predecessor, but it might have been a bit too much for both the platform and the developer to handle. Keeping in mind, at this point, Artoon was kind of new to the developing game scene. But this one, this one feels different. If you go into this from a mainline KOF and you put yourself right in the footsteps of Neo Blood, right in their shoes, you're in for a rude awakening. So for this one, I'm going to be playing the Psycho Soldiers team, because we haven't really given them their due. And we're going to put the new character front and center, Bao. So, systems. This is basically a lift of KOF 99. Not too much has changed. But if you're familiar with the Game Boy Advance and their button layout, things are gonna be a bit different than what you're used to. For one, it only has 2 face buttons, just like the regular Game Boy. This means that 2 other buttons are shoulder buttons. So if you're coming here from a game where your 4 buttons are nearby, it's going to be a bit difficult to adjust. Especially if you want to string together some pretty advanced combos. Since I have the benefit of playing this on an emulator, I've switched the buttons around to represent the 4-face button controller appropriately. But this isn't an entirely reused cast of characters. This is your new character, your new face, if you will. This is Moe Habana. She fights with an aura that represents cherry blossoms, and yeah, that's kind of about it. Her role has been forgotten to time, because if you were to actually acknowledge that there were more than 3 sacred treasures, well, shit hit the fan pretty fast. And we are living in a post-Orochi world, right? It's not like this game revives the plot to utilize Orochi's power. That'd be nuts. So, hi, Chin. See, the thing is, this is 3v3, but we can't exactly have 4 characters on the team be playable, so a compromise had to be made. They essentially picked a character out of random, it feels like, and relegated them to the striker role, including KOF 99's new character, Whip. She can only be a striker. You cannot select her as a playable character. Also, this game has unlockable extra strikers, and some of them range from yeah to yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure that Yamazaki, of all people, is an unlikable striker, which, don't ask me how that works. I resigned myself not to think about it too much. So yeah, there are a lot of things about this game that really take you out of it. Mostly the sound effects on even hitting your opponent are absent in some cases, so feedback on if your attacks are successful aren't always relayed to the players, so you find yourself flailing a bit, hoping that your moves make headway. Oh, hi. That was a death. But buttons-wise, this feels like KOF. Your attacks do what they do, but however, playability is a different matter entirely. Not that I had gained an understanding of 99 all that much. And clearly some of that data has been lost to me over time. But I just played KOF 99 no more than a few days ago. And this one, it's like playing a whole new game. Alright. Let's actually put Athena first. It is worth noting, and I haven't mentioned this yet, you select your characters via this little selection circle, rather than button inputs. That is a nice improvement. So, Athena, or Athena, however you choose to pronounce it. Japan has ruined me in that regard. Straight out of SNK's more classic entries, their Psycho Soldier series, their Athena arcade game. She was redesigned and retooled to fit the King of Fighters dynamic. So instead of being a goddess bent on saving her world, she's instead the reincarnation. She is a pop star idol with special psycho power abilities. And yeah, the fact that they're called psycho power, mere coincidence, I assure you. Athena is noteworthy for having gone through several redesigns throughout KOF, and it would change for just about every new mainline entry. She would never wear the same outfit twice. Gotta commend the efforts of the sprite team for making that happen. But Athena's always been one of my favorite characters to use. Easy to pick up, easy to play, and her gameplay rarely changes. She's probably one of the better characters to pick up if you're just starting out with KOF, and she's in practically every one. So, story-wise, the team behind this game actively tried to develop reasons why certain characters couldn't compete in this tournament, why they had to take a more substitute role. For people like Joe Higashi, it's kind of, yeah, that makes sense. He was busy defending a Muay Thai championship he had won, so he couldn't show up for the tournament in time. The KOF tournament, of course. It is worth noting that, yeah, for now I'm kind of beasting my way through this game's normal difficulty. One of the things that, not really in this because Game Boy Advance, I'm guessing, is that the Game Boy Advance received a lot of ports of popular fighting games, but most of them, for one reason or another, I'm guessing is the power of the console. The AI is kind of weak. They'll give you a run for they'll give you a run for your money sometimes, sorry. They'll give you a run for your money sometimes, but otherwise, yeah, you've pretty much got this in the bag. It is worth noting that things like Counter mode, armor mode. Not in this one. This is a more simplified KOF 99. So what do you say we fight our exact twins? So yeah, Athena was getting new outfits. Back to her briefly. She was getting new outfits every year. They weren't that radically different from one another, with the exception of 99. That's when that whole trend became crystal clear. I actually like this outfit. It's not my favorite of the bunch, but it was the start of a trend. A trend of basically redesigning Athena's outfits. Well, gameplay, she hasn't changed much, and that's what counts. She can zone. She has a lot of special moves that are safe. She can teleport around with relative ease. She has a pretty good uppercut. But not a whole lot of startup invincibility. I did that powered up max move point blank and still got stuffed. But it's nothing I can't handle. Oh wow, that didn't even kill you. Alright. Last team for the main event. Alright. We'll once again put Bao first. Since you really didn't get to talk about him that much. Bao was the new character they added to KOF 99, and he's got a pretty unique move list of his own. He can throw out Psycho Balls with light attacks, and they more or less determine where these shots are going to go. However, if you use the heavy version instead, which I'm trying to do, Not the Forgiven controls are just doing wonders. If you use the heavy version of them, Bao essentially turns himself into his own projectile. Pretty neat idea for a character. And yes, he can do most of them in the air. Yeah, I think Bao's a pretty good addition to KOF. He's got his own unique style. I understand that he's not necessarily the most respected character, because look at the little shit. Look at that projectile go right through me, because this game has wonderful hitboxes. Alright, and that brings us to the main story. Because yes, this game tries to have one. That city was just a projection on a screen. Hi, I am Iori. I am sliding into frame 2. Oh my gosh, turns! Iori Yagami, prior to this game, had supposedly gone missing. And, well, here he is now. So bosses in this game are a unique encounter. And we will cover why. Iori himself has no striker because nobody wants a piece of that, so at least that's staying consistent. And you can't play as Iori normally. You need to play as a certain team and beat the game with them to unlock him, but, well, we ain't doing that here. That's not how we do. Alright, yay, we won! Iori's done. Or is he? Yeah, pay attention to the top of the screen. Note that one of those black squares is filled in with red. Kind of like this is still a team battle. That's right. We have to beat Iori. Oh, damn. We have to beat Iori not once, not twice, but thrice. 3 times. Sorry. Trying to catch you. Ah, you caught me instead. It's nice how I stood back up to take the rest of the super. Alright. So, one thing I didn't note in KOF 99 that Neoblood carried over is that special meter isn't transferred to other characters. If you lose a character and move on to the next one, that character starts with no meter. They have to start from scratch. So the idea of batteries do not exist in this game. Yeah, invincible your way through that fireball. You're gonna fall eventually. Okay, so Iori's done. I bet you'll never guess who the final boss of this game is. Not the Orochi Rage. You're what? Sideshow Freak. Did you say Geese Howard? Geese Howard is the organizer of this tournament. He won some of that Orochi drip. He must be pushed to the limit in this unused production line? It's a weird stage. So yeah, Geese Howard is your final boss. A weird choice, for certain. Okay. Battle Athena and Kenso. At least Geese Howard gets a Geese Tower looking stage. Chin, help me out here. So Geese, roughly based off his KOF 96 attire and move list. Bit of a weird choice to bring him back to make him the final boss, but this is an SNK game, and Geese kind of has a reputation for that, so play on. Much like with Iori, we have to smack him down 3 times to achieve victory. And as you can see, yeah, I'm not having too much trouble with that. don't know, I guess they figured the bosses were too easy by themselves, so if you have to beat them up more than once, it makes them more difficult, right? Wrong. And we're done. I didn't get away, I'm standing right here. We'll survive by sliding off screen, yay! I am but your servant. What is it? What? Oh my god, Bao is in on all the future lingo. Yeah, you keep doing you, Iori. Okay, so that is King of Fighters EX Neo Blood. For a fighting game launching in Game Boy Advance's launch window, it's not that bad of an effort, but it very clearly underperforms compared to its Neo Geo big brothers. It's not a bad game to have in your library, and needless to say, the team that did this would improve their work for the sequel. But this is just a weird little pit stop. It feels like they wanted to just make a straight 99 port, but realized they bit off more than they could chew, so fuck it. Throw out the work you were doing and just make a Dream Match game for kicks, with its own unique plot. Plus, with this game, average is better than what the Game Boy did get in the past, so it's a step up, but baby steps. We need to move on to another King of Fighters game, and the 6th episode would leave one hell of an impression.